स्वस्ति नः वेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So the first mantra, Om Atha Ashvalayanaha Bhagavantam Parameshtinam Upasametya Ovacha Adihi Bhagavah Brahma Vidyam Varishtam Sada Sattvis Sevyamanam Nigudham Yaya Chirat Sarva Papam Vyapohya Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidvan.
I can go.
Go.
Okay. Bhadram Karanebhi Shrumayama Devaha. This is the Shanti mantra. Prayer seeking blessings from all the presiding deities. Can everybody keep on mute, please? To become a well-prepared student of knowledge. May we see auspicious things, prayer to Lord Sun. May we perform virtuous actions, prayers to Lord Indra. May we have unobstructed movement, prayer to Garuda. May we get to hear the auspicious words of the teacher without any obstructions, prayer to Wind God. May we engage in good thoughts, become intelligent, and speak good words, grace of Brahaspati, presiding deity of speech and intelligence. In summary, may this Karya Karana Sanghata, the mind-body complex, be in favor of us so that we can grasp the teaching. That's the summary of the Bhadram Karane Vishnuyama Devaha Shanti mantra there. And Kaivalya Upanisad is also a dialogue between the teacher and the creator, Brahma, and the student Ashvalayana. The sage Ashvalayana, a teacher of Rigveda, is seeking jnana. He must have gone through, Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Damadi, all Shatka Sampattis and Mumukshatvam phases of growth and maturity. Now he has gone to a teacher, seeking a competent teacher who teaches us traditional methods is necessary to understand the nature of ourself, the nature of Tat, Tvam, and the identity between the two. Teacher guides us understand the Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. Teacher guides us to understand Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara relationship. It requires a teacher to point out that what we think of ourselves is not who we are. This verse is also talking how a student should approach the teacher with surrender and devotion, with a desire for knowledge rather than desire for liberation. The teacher will verify the student's eligibility. Student needs to show that they have sincerity through preparation, through service, action, speech, and thought. Show Shraddha and Bhakti to the teacher. Once the teacher recognizes your sincerity, ask the questions. Here, Ashvalayana asks the teacher the following question, and then we go on to verse 1. Did that cover, or I should go on verse 1 also? Let's see. Please teach, Ashvalayana says, please teach me the most exalted knowledge, was Varishta, right? Exalted knowledge, Brahma Vidya, the Paravidya, the knowledge of absolute and the knowledge of the substratum that's behind all this changing and all that's changing, the knowledge of Satya that's behind all this Mithya, and the great secret hidden behind the wrong notion, Niguda, that which is known by wise, the knowledge which is knowledge in which the wise abide all the time, right? Sada sadbihi, always abide in it. And then the knowledge by which wise people destroy all their evils, anger, cruelty, injustice, aggression, etc., right? And then remain in the unlimited wholeness. That knowledge, please teach me. And that's how he's asking the teacher. I want cessation of all sorrow and attainment of unlimited happiness. And Swamiji had mentioned that Puja Swamiji Dayananda ji says that all humans want, what they want is the pleased self. All problems are solved when I'm pleased with myself. All problems when I'm not pleased with myself, all problems arise when I'm not pleased with myself. So the only way to be pleased with myself is to discover that you're already, the Purna, that's already my nature. That's all I've written.
No, it's good, perfect. I am just going to add. So this is the pratigna that is done at the start of the Upanishad. So this will also find at the concluding section of the Upanishad. So this is the pratigna, or this is the, this is what we heard.
Prachi volume little. Volume.
This now can you hear?
Yeah.
It's this problem. So this is almost the pratigna that is being done at the start. He approached the teacher, and this is what he wanted to know, and the same thing will be concluded once the teaching is over, and we will see how it ends up in here. Just as Rachita ji said, attainment of the limitless and vyapohya sarva papam. Achirat sarva papam vyapohya. So, removal of all sorrow once and for all. How? Through this Brahma Vidya, which we see being implemented by the wise, which we see in the wise. And so, he is approaching the teacher, requesting for this knowledge. So he has the knowledge of what this Brahma Vidya does, what is the result of the Brahma Vidya. So he's clear that knowledge alone is the way to go. And so that little pratigna is here. And then I guess we can move on to the next verses. Right? तस्मै सहोवाच पितामहश्च श्रद्धा भक्ति ध्यानयोगादवैः. So, what did the Pitamaha do? Who is the Pitamaha?
Brahmaji.
Brahmaji. What did he do?
Shraddha
Pundaji.
Jnana Yoga.
Pundaji, what did the Pitamaha do? Did you attend that lecture? Otherwise, I won't put you in the spot. So, Kopaliji, you also can.
Yeah, I have these notes which I made. Can I read them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is about on the lecture of mantra 2 and 3.
Okay.
So first we are going to 2. The lecture is giving, the notes is with a little introduction also. The lecture began with the chanting of Shanti mantra and mantras 2 and 3. O revere, please teach me the Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman, which is blessed, the most sacred, and the wise people are always abiding in that which is most exalted knowledge, after knowing which nothing else need to be known. By this Vidya, all the sins are destroyed. Sins due to ignorance or tendency to violate is a sin. Or so, when we violate the order deliberately, it's called sinful action. When action is performed in order, is a virtuous action, not sin. Constantly, I keep on branding myself as a limited being, identifying myself as a doer, enjoyer, etc., which is sin born out of ignorance. This is a habitual thing. Branding myself constantly is the source of my sorrow. When habit is imposition or branding myself stops, I can abide in myself. The next verse, which you have read, the Pitamaha is grandfather Brahmaji. Brahmaji gives birth to Prajapatis like Daksha or Marichi Prajapati. We are all progeny of Prajapati. So Brahmaji is grandfather. Lord Krishna says by prostration, seva, this from Gita, Swamiji quotes repeatedly from Gita, by prostration, seva, appropriate question, you may win over the heart of the teacher. So here Brahmaji gives permission to teach, but it does not start right away. Two kinds of preparations on the part of the students are required. Bahiranga sadhanam and antaranga sadhanam. Pitamaha says for the fine tuning of the mind, you require 3 things: Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. These 3 attributes should be there for jnana. In fact, I'm personally very much influenced by Shraddha because I see in any sphere of life, first of all, the belief, like Swamiji has indicated many times, you may not know what it is, but you believe it is so. Like he said, the dining hall, we believe there is food, so we go there. That's an example he gave. So Shraddha means faith, trust, a disposition of mind. When my mind says this is true, uh, Shastrasya Guruvakyasya. Shraddha in two things, Shastra and Guruvakya. When you listen to the words of a teacher for the unfoldment of scripture, what is the response of my mind? If mind resists or questions, then it is not learning mind. It's not favorably disposed to what the teacher is unfolding. So it's important to have that mind which can receive unfoldment to the fullest. So, favorable disposition of mind is Shraddha. As Puja Swamiji says, Shraddha is giving benefit of doubts. It may be that one may not agree to what the teacher says, but giving benefit of doubt because the subject matter here is I. I already have some conclusions about myself and ego. I believe this is also very important. Subject matter is I, and I already have some conclusions about myself and ego. So, whenever something said goes against the perception of ego, then there is tendency to reject. So, one cannot learn. Along with Shraddha, there is bhakti. This bhakti is also a concept discussed in our personal life many times. What is bhakti?
Tatparta.
So,
Commitment, tatparta.
yeah. So with reference to my conclusions, I can create distance to learn about myself, I. Distance can be created by identifying with the teacher, by scrutinizing my own conclusions, and from the standpoint of the teacher. So teacher becomes a gateway to scriptures. So our conclusions are there, and let the teacher scrutinize those conclusions and be the gateway. So letting to go by my notions, my conclusions about myself, letting to go is letting to go ignorance. That is superimposition. Letting them to go is process of learning. So as Lord Krishna says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Shraddha happens. If it's lacking, we pray to God for grace. Here, can I say something else also, which with reference to what Swamiji has taught? And because I've been thinking of sharing some of the things which have deeply influenced me. Swamiji in one of his lectures, he talked about the effect of a mantra, and he talked giving an example of Om Namah Shivaya, simplest mantra. He says many times people chant the mantra. People think what is this? You don't believe it, and then it'll just sound making or lip service. But Swamiji has indicated 4 stages in that. He says a mantra, even if you think you do not believe it, but if you think you would like to do it, there will be 4 stages. One thing is you continue to do. And then second thing is at some stage or other, when you talk about say Om Namah Shivaya repeatedly for a certain time, certain number of times every day, you start thinking, what is this Om? And what is Namah Shivaya? What is Namah? What is Shiva? And when you start thinking, that is the second stage. And the third stage is when you start thinking, still you continue to do without knowing anything. Someday or other, you will try to find out like the meaning of what Om is, or what is why Namaha and Shiva. What is Shiva? Which Swamiji has ably discussed in lecture 7 and 8. And that's why 7, because Om, I have always been wondering, what is, while reading Bhagavad Gita, Mahatyam, they say, Ardhamatra Nitya, Sonirvachya Padatmika, Gita. Ardhamatraksha Nitya Swanirvachya Padatmika. So I kept on wondering, what is Ardhamatra? I never knew. Then in 7th lecture, Swamiji indicated what is Om. Then my doubts on Ardhamatra is cleared, because Om, while it's a combination of 3 syllables, it is silence in between is Ardhamatra. And that is the thing, that is a consciousness. So I understood. So like he says, the third stage in mantra is when it's like,
Consciousness is that, but consciousness is also pervading we will go there when we'll discuss that mantra.
we'll go.
Yeah.
But when scriptures repeatedly say this, you keep on wondering, you may not know what Om Namah Shivaya is. You keep on singing, then you start thinking, then you find out someday, at least about Nama. Nama is Shraddha here. And Shiva, that's something else. And Om, that is the fourth thing. And the fourth stage is the liberation. Then you understand.
Namaha is surrender. That's
Yeah, that's what.
Sharanagati.
Yeah. That's Shraddha. That means you surrender because you believe in that. So, like folding your hands, normally, people say, bachon ko, for children, we say namaste, we fold the hands. But children don't easily fold. Sometimes we also may not fold hands before somebody whom we don't believe. So the folding action or the feeling, actual gesture or intention, it doesn't come through unless you have Shraddha. So something like that, then the mantra may start meaning to you. And mantra means when you understand the mantra, he says after the third stage, you don't have to worry. Even the first stage, you don't have to worry because second will come. It may take months, years, days, or sometimes many years. That's what is indicated. And I believe. So the fourth stage will come automatically. Like Chinmayananda says, Swamiji says, sleep. Sleep will come by itself. If you want it, it won't come. Fourth stage will come by itself. So 1/7 deviation, when after understanding Swamiji like this, I understood that Om Namah Shivaya, I understood the simple, it's a simplest mantra where no mistake can be done. So what I do is the moment I start in the morning, any practice regarding, like even washing a lamp for God or putting up something, even cleaning the things also, I start saying Om Namah Shivaya till the time you come where you have to do something else. So that sound itself, sound may have another method. So here, uh, I don't know where I've deviated from. Now I'll continue. May I?
Yes. I just want to say one thing. So, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Yoga. So, associated with this, uh, uh, may you know. That's what Pitamaha said. Here we deliberately have to remember Shraddha because we understand two kind of Shraddha in our life. One is Shraddha towards Bhagavan, like that Vishwas, trust. And the Shraddha here, which is being asked for, is the Pramana Buddhi. That, like in the Kathopanishad, I don't know if I said here, that when Yacheng Vang Manasin Yache, that is being said, then this Shraddha is required. The Pramana Buddhi is required. That what Shastra is saying is right. And so that we can walk as the Shastra tells us. So just like I have Pramana Buddhi in my eyes, uh, that is the kind of relationship this Shraddha has. And that is in towards the Shastra and towards Guru. But there is slight difference between the Shraddha we normally have in our day-to-day life and the Shraddha that Vedanta calls for. That objectivity. That is what here Vedanta calls for. Bhakti is Tatparta and Dhyana is, of course, Ekagrata. So these three sadhana are needed for knowing what you have asked for. That is what Pitamaha says. Okay. Then
Just two lines on the same sloka, mantra only. Tatparata is commitment bhakti. Every sorrow is a result of ignorance. And when that becomes clear to me, the only problem in life is ignorance, which is the cause of all sorrow. Nothing else is the reason. If this becomes clear, then there'll be vairagya. When mind feels happy, it pays attention to why attends to at that. And why it's happy is because I accept myself as I am. When Shraddha and Bhakti are there, then my mind is single pointedly focused on one thing of learning. That is Dhyanam, which is Nididhyasanam. Then that's so much I've written about this mantra.
So then, next mantra, na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage neke amrutattvamanashuhu parena nakam nihitam guhaya vibrajate yatyatayo vishanti. So, the sadhana is further being unfolded in this mantra. So in the second mantra, the Pitamaha said Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana as a sadhana. Here again, sadhana is being unfolded. Tyaga is being unfolded as the sadhana. That by Tyaga alone, not by karmana, not by karma, not by praja, not by dhana, but by Tyaga alone, this amrutattva can be attained. This limitlessness that you had been asked, that you asked for in mantra 1, that can be attained. Okay.
I have a small notes, a few lines on this. The next mantra has some more requirements with the famous verse that is chanted with the Purna Kumbha when one receives a sannyasan. I want to always exist. So there is fear of death as it's perceived as end of I, as you feel it's the end of I existence. I also cannot stand ignorance and wants to be happy all the time. Life is pursuit of three things: pushing death as far as possible, acquiring knowledge, removing ignorance, and love for being happy. So, life is existence. Happily is ananda. With consciousness is knowledge. Awareness uh, s- uh, it is Sat Chit Ananda. So wise people have their priority very clear. That dharma, artha, kama commitment is dropped. Na karmana, na prajaya, na danena, na tyagena brings renunciation and thus teaches the goal of Satchitananda. Wise persons
Tyagena.
attain
It should not be na tyagena, it should be tyagena.
Tyagena, correct, right. I didn't write it, I just added in stream. I was
Yes.
wondering. So
Yes, yes,
wise
yes, yes.
people attain this state by knowledge and they abide in bliss, Sat Chit Ananda.
And then it says, uh, where, where do they, you know,
Volume, please.
find, sorry, where do they attain this amrutatvam? So then that next verse is giving the answer. Parenanakam nihitam guhaya vibrajate yatayo vishanti. So yatayaha means sannyasi or the seekers. They enter this amrutatva where it is hidden in the guha, in the buddhi. This it shines in the buddhi itself. Uh, this limitlessness is to be known in the buddhi itself. So this is where they find Parenanakam. It transcends even the heaven. So this Amrutatvam, it transcends even the heaven, and that kind of limitlessness, where is that obtained? Nihitam guhayam. It is hidden in the guha, in the buddhi. And in this buddhi, it vibrajate, it shines. And the yatayi, the sannyasis, having recognized this in their buddhi, they attain that amrutatvam. Uh, then, how is it? Okay, you told me the sadhana, that by Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyan, and Tyag, you can attain this result that I have asked for, Amrutatva. Then you told me where to find it. In the Guha, in the Buddhi, that it is always shining in the Buddhi, but it is hidden. That you told me. And the yatis, the sannyasis, are able to enter. But I am not a sannyasi yet. So how do I do it as a seeker? So then it is said, how do I find it? So Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha Sannyasa Yogatyataya Shuddha Sattvaha Te Brahmalokeshu Parantakale Paramrita Parimuchanti Sarve. So how do I find it? How do those sannyasis do it? Well, these sannyasis uh, having having ascertained the knowledge that Vedanta has to impart, meaning having done the Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, having done the Shravanam, meaning having understood the Tatparya of the Shastra, uh, this is how these sannyasis have prepared themselves. And what kind of sannyasis or what kind of yatis are these? Shuddha sattvaha, meaning their antahkaran is shuddha. They are of pure mind. And this is how they have attained the tatparya of the Vedanta Vakya. So, what do we as seekers have to do? We just have to do the same thing. Uh, Now, here the yatayaha can be interpreted as both the sannyasi or mumukshu. So, the seekers, whoever wants to follow, uh, so uh, then, uh, then we can infer that there is a prescription that through sannyasa, this mumukshus should approach to understand, to attain, to ascertain this knowledge of the self. Fine. So you told me the sadhanam, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, and Tyaga. Then you told me where to find it in the guha, in the buddhi. It shines. You told me how the yatis are able to find it in the buddhi. You told me that by doing the nishchay, sunishchitarthaha, by understanding the purport of the Vedanta Vakya, these sannyasis, these yatayah, of the nature of pure mind, Shuddha Sattvaha, they are able to abide in this Amrutattva Manashu. So that second line of fourth verse that tells the result that when the yatis, when the sannyasis, they are able to do the Vedanta Vijnana Nishchay in this manner, what do they gain? Te brahmalokesh parantakaale paramrutat parimuchanti sarve. So then they are released from all parimuchanti. They are released from all the sorrow once and for all. Paramrutaha. They attain that limitlessness. And parantakale brahmalokeshu. When do they attain this? Parantakale brahmalokesh. Parantakale. So when they are able to release themselves from the identification with the upadhi that is happening right now. So Brahma Lokeshu, Brahma Eva Lokaha. So they become Brahma. They find themselves as Brahma. That is one interpretation. So the result is they find themselves as Brahma, and in this manner they attain the limitlessness and become free from sorrow once and for all. Second interpretation is uh, Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti is the second interpretation that Paramrutat. So after Paramrutat, where am I? Paramrutat. Huh? So so there is a different reading to this mantra. Instead of Paramrutaha, there is Paramrutat takara. And when that takara is there, then we should interpret it as Krama Mukti. When there is Paramrutaha, it refers to Jivan Mukti, and the same mantra has a different reading, Paramrutat, which refers to Krama Mukti, meaning the sadhaka, the seeker, the sannyasi goes to Brahmaloka, and then Brahmaji there gives Upadesha, teaching to this sadhaka, this sannyasi, and knowing this, understanding his swarupa, then he becomes one with Brahma. So it is Krama Mukti. So two types of mukti are being talked about in Vedanta. One is Jivan Mukti, Sadhyo Mukti, meaning liberated while alive. And then there is Videha Mukti is also there. That is what I should have said. But then there is this thing that when we have not understood our nature while we are living here, it's possible that we may go to Brahma Loka on account of the upasana, etc., that we may have done, or some seeker who may have done. And there, Brahmaji gives the teaching, and he gets liberation sequentially. Any question, any comments, anything to add? Yes, no? Okay, so can we move ahead?
Yeah.
So then the verses of meditation starts from, okay, sorry, so the verses 5 to 7 are the verses for meditation, and so the verse 5 first says how the sadhaka has to prepare himself for meditation. And the rest of the mantras say what kind of meditation should be done. Again, two kind of meditation are done. One is meditation upon the meditator. When I meditate upon myself. That's what we do typically in Nididhyasanam. And the second type of meditation is when generally like upasana, when we meditate upon something different from ourselves. So mantras, so I'm just giving the overview before, digging into. So we have that, we can retain the general picture. So the verse 5 gives the preparation of meditation. Then verse 6 and the first part of 7, Chidananda Rupam Adbhutam, until that part, that is meditation upon meditator. So I'm meditating upon myself, on Nirgun Brahma. That is the type of meditation. And then Uma Sahayam to Parastat, that is meditation upon Sagun Brahma. So it's like Upasana. So having said that, why don't we take it? विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्तः शुचिः समग्रीवशिरः शरीरः अत्याश्रमस्तः सकलेन्द्रियाणि निरुद्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य.
I can go. It's an easy one.
Yeah.
Unless anyone else wants to go.
No, you can go.
I have some notes, but please go ahead.
Meditate in a secluded place where there is no external disturbances, seated in a comfortable posture, preferably sitting, keeping the neck and the head and trunk all in one line, with a purified mind, leaving behind all raga and dveshas, using pratipaksha bhava or taking the opposite stance, and remaining in the highest order of sannyasa, temporarily renunciate for the duration of the meditation at least everything. Do not play any role, no responsibility, no accountability, no relationship, just for the duration of meditation, be a sannyasi. Restraining all sense organs, disengage all organs of perception, taking all sense organs inward, saluting one's own teacher with devotion. This is like the preparation how to meditate. We haven't gotten to what to meditate upon, but this is just the almost like prerequisites. Yeah.
Yes. So then but in here the most important is that atyashramastha, so giving up that roles and responsibilities, so that it makes your mind available to what we are going to meditate upon, whether even if it is Sagun Brahma Upasana, even then that giving up the responsibility is the most important element, which I guess we all find challenging when we do start to meditate. So it's abhyasa definitely as we go on. Okay, next one. Rutpundarikam virajam vishuddham vichintya madhye vishudam vishokam achinthyam avyaktamanantarupam shivam prashantam amrutatvam brahmayonim tamaadimadhyantavihinamekam vibhum chidanandamarupam. Okay, we'll do this much first.
I have some notes on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this verse, so many ways of the self is described. As each is described, the what is it? What something is dropped off. Where where are the likes and dislikes? They are not the self, but those are the mind only. Create the distance. In fact, this distance is already there. Self, if distant from the mind, it is only an identification like we identify within a movie. Recognize the distance. I am not the anger or jealousy. I am the unconnected illuminator. If you feel sad, ask who is sad. It is the mind, not you. To enlighten such descriptions, such avyaktam, achintyam, it is here described. Meditation is being mental. The two types are described: worship, sajatiya vritti, prabhava, mental worship. The other kind is no sajatiya, but on self itself. No duality here, unlike before. So don't try to visualize. Then it is, if you visualize, it's duality. No experience here. Though many describe experience of knowledge of self, but in actually you are the self. So where is the question of experiencing? That is why Anantam, Achintyam, Shivam, Smrutam, uh, Elam,
Prashantam.
Vibhum, Chit, Aroma, Adbhutam, these descriptions are given.
Okay, I will go over this little bit further. So when we are meditating, we can actually remember this verse and go over some of these words. So, Rutpundarikam, that is where we have to meditate. It's in the heart, right? So, that Rutpundarikam, that heart, that place is being first described by the adjectives Virajam and Vishuddham. So, free from Ragadvesha and Vishuddham. Uh, you should have written some. So should be pure. Uh, then in this kind of mind, Vichintya, one should meditate. Vichintya Madhye. So this is all where we should meditate. Then from starting from Vishadam, Vishokam, all the way till the end of Adbhutam, that is the description of the self. Each of those words is description of the self. So when we are meditating, we can take even just one word and we can uh, when we have made sure we are atyashrami, no roles, responsibilities in our mind, then we can take one of these words, Vishadam. What am I? Vishadam, clear. So Vishadam is clear. And Vishokam, free from sorrow. So I can uh, meditate and I can remind myself, I can do the Nididhyasanam that I am Vishokam, I am free from sorrow. Next word, Achintya. I am Achintyam. I cannot be, I'm unthinkable. Why? Because I cannot be reached by mind. This is how I can uh, meditate. So, if any thought is disturbing us, we can remind ourselves, no, I am Achintyam. All those thoughts are in the realm of, operation, being operated by the mind. I am what? I am Achintyam. I cannot be thought by mind. Why am I Achintyam? Because I am Avyaktam. I do not have any form. So again, if I am trying to visualize, then I drop that notion of which I drop that habit of mine to visualize. So each of these, because we have all these tendencies in our mind, like even if we have studied this, when we actually do meditation, we automatically try to think about something. We automatically try to, visualize something. So when we find ourselves visualizing, we can remind ourselves, hey, mind, no, we are what? I am what? Avyaktam. I'm what? Achintyam. Then the next word, Anantarupam. So you're Avyaktam, formless, Achintyam. But who am I? Anantarupam. I display all the forms, the limitless forms. And who am I? I am Shivam. I'm auspicious. Meaning what? I am Anandam. I'm not that, sorrowful, sad being. I am of the nature of happiness. Then Prashantam, free from any disturbance. So if the mind is, you find your mind with all the disturbances, you can remind yourself what? Hey, no, these distractions are in mind. I am what? I am Prashantam. I am tranquil. I am of the nature of tranquility. Amrutatvam. I am Marana Rahita. I'm of the nature of limitlessness as well as free from all the marana dharma, free from mortality. And what am I? I am Brahma Yonim. I am Brahman as well as Yonim. That is one interpretation. And the other interpretation is the cause of the Yoni, meaning I am the cause of the Jagat. So, and I am Brahma, Bruhat, meaning big. I'm the big. So you can find in this Anantarupam, Brahma Yonim, Amrutam, it is almost like identifying with that Brahma, limitlessness. So even in this meditation, you find yourself identifying with the pure consciousness as well as the characteristic of Brahma. So if you are able to do it, and Anantarupam, uh, then you will find that you'll understand that what this meditation is trying to say is that oneness between Jiva and Brahma. Even if you try to revel in each of these words for, uh, for some time. Then, so basically, Achintyam is not a state of mind. Avyaktam, meaning it is not object of sense organs. So, don't get stuck with your mind. That's what it amounts to. Then what is it? Tam adi madhyanta vihinam ekam. It doesn't have adi, beginning, madhya, middle, and end. Why? Why is it so that it doesn't have adi and madhya and anta? Because it is ekam. To have adi, to have a cause, to have a janma, what is required? Something other than me. But there is nothing other than me. So how can I have an adi? How can I have a madhya? How can I have a anta? So I am adi, uh, madhya, anta, vihinam, because I am ekam. I'm ekam. Am I just this ekam in this body? No, I am vibhum. Vividhena bhati. I am vibhum. I'm all pervasive. So each of these words leads to, uh, you know, uh, a better understanding of me. It helps me revel in myself. Chidananda Rupam. Chidanandam. I am of the nature of Chit, consciousness, and Anandam. Chidanandam. And Arupam. I am formless. So this Arupam goes with, where is it? Anantarupam. Hey, you said I am Anantarupam. I possess many forms, and now you're saying Arupam. So it is negating that don't think that you are that Virat with weapons and all that. Don't try to visualize again. I already told you you are Avyakta. Still, by Anantarupam, if you are trying to visualize, then the Shruti makes sure that you don't make that mistake, and it tells no, you are Arupam. And then Adbhutam. Oh my God, really? I am Anantarupam as well as Arupam. I am Adbhutam. So that Ashcharyavat, I am, so that Ashcharya, that is what is being pointed by Adbhutam. So it's Nirgun Brahma Upasana. So we should do this every day. I mean, we should pick up a word or two. And what I think Swamiji said in this one is, there are a lot of words given here, and depending on our state of mind, depending on the tendencies we find during the meditation, we can use one or other word, whatever we find helpful. So all of the words are equally helpful. We need not revel on all of them. We may, but we can also focus on just one or two depending on negating, the state of mind. Okay. उमासहायां परमेश्वरं प्रभुं त्रिलोचनं नीलकण्ठं प्रशान्तं ध्यात्वा मुनिर्गच्छति भूतयोनिं Samasta, where is it gone? Samasta Sakshim Tamasaf Parastat. Okay, who wants to do?
I have a small notes on this.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I'm going to my notes. It describes Saguna Brahma as a stepping stone to Nirguna, dual meditation. Here, Parameshwaram describes who is the supreme ruler. How about all rulers? Even the biggest has some rules which dictate at least his likes and dislikes. Is it possible to be one who doesn't have any rules? If so, then you have no likes, no dislikes, no demands, just fair, Ishvara himself. Such a position has such responsibilities. Everything without any like or dislike. That's all I've written.
Okay, so
I
yes, go ahead.
Is this verse 7?
Yes, verse 7.
Verse 7.
Umasahai
Yeah.
Parastat.
So meditation upon Saguna Brahma. If Nirguna Brahma meditation is hard for you in the beginning, you can go with Saguna meditation with Lord Shiva as the Saguna Rupa. Lord Shiva, the half of Uma or Parvati, here Purusha, the conscious, and Prakriti, the matter, Maya or Uma. When there is some agenda, my action cannot be selfless. Whatever I do will be in some way or the other, will be towards fulfilling that agenda. So a wanting person will never be fair. Parameshwara, the Supreme Lord, who is not ruled by anyone else, in whose presence everything else takes place, focus on that Ishvara, cosmic form of Lord Shiva, like the sun in the right eye, moon in the left eye, fire in the middle eye, whatnot, right? With a blue neck, tranquil in the midst of everything, staying unaffected, abiding in peace and happiness, can be used for meditation. So the form, the figure of Shiva can be used for meditation, the Saguna Brahma. Slowly the meditator realizes that the truth of Brahman is the self. Even if you go through the Saguna meditation, Saguna Rupa, eventually, slowly, the meditator will realize that the truth of Brahman is the self. That's what I've written.
So yeah, it's Sagun Brahma Upasana and Uma Sahayam. So the whole form is being described so that we can have that form in front of us. The Parameshwar, the Shivji. It is a meditation upon Lord Shiva, uh, whose consort is Devi Uma, and is Parameshwaram, Prabhum, Trilochanam, as you said, sun, the three eyes, and Neelakantham. So all the Visheshana are used, Prashantam, and contemplating upon Bhagavan in this manner, the Muni, the seeker, Gachati, Bhuta Yonim. He attains Bhuta Yonim, the cause of all the Jagat. Samasta Sakshim Tamasaf, who is the cause of, he attains the Bhutyo, the cause of all the universe, which is Samasta Sakshim, which is the witness of all, and which is Tamasaf Parastat, which transcends ignorance, which transcends darkness. This is one meaning. I don't know if Swamiji gave you the other meaning in this verse. This verse is also interpreted as there is let me see if I have yeah, this verse is also treated as Nirguna Brahma Visheshanas. Trilochanam can be interpreted as Swapna Jagrat Sushupti. Don't worry about it if you don't have it. Neelkantham is Krishna Kantham. Okay, I think I would have to go over all this too. Uma Prathama Sharira Karya Karana Uma Sahaya. Okay, you know what? Let it. I won't go over it because if Swamiji has not gone through it, next year when we do the Tika, Swamiji will take it, I guess. But the Trilochanam can also be thought about as Jagrat Swapna Sushuti. And that's how this mantra can also end up in Nirguna Brahma. It can also end up in contemplating upon that Nirguna Swarupa of Ishvara. But we don't have to worry, we can stick with our Sagun Brahma.
Can we not
contemplation.
interpret as both the methods? Earlier he has talked about Nirguna, now he is talking about the Saguna Brahma. And think about him, and then you'll cross from your ignorance.
Yeah,
And
that's how the Tika is doing. That Uma Sahayam can be interpreted as both Saguna Brahma, and that Uma Sahayam, the same verse, can also be interpreted as Nirgun Brahma. So, how can that be interpreted? So, then each of these words, how it leads to Nirgun Brahma, that has to be explained. So, that's little bit complicated. So, I'm leaving it because otherwise I'll have to explain everything. But the same verse, Uma Sahayam, can be also interpreted as it is talking about Nirgun Brahma.
yeah, why I'm saying is Swamiji repeatedly talked about Saguna Nirguna, about he kept on talking about explaining both of them. So it looks to be two ways. Anyway, we'll go ahead. Yeah.
No, it is. See, what I'm saying is this is Uma Sahayam is meant to be there, but Swamiji is going to when Swamiji will follow the Tika next year when we'll do the Pashyam. That is when the same thing Swamiji will say that this can be interpreted as Sagun, and this same thing can also be interpreted as Nirgun. That's what I'm saying. For now, we can keep it simple that Rut Pundarikam, this is Nirgun, and Uma Sahayam to Parastat, that is meditation upon
Sagun.
Sagun Brahma. Okay. So, uh, then the next uh, the next mantra talks about. So I'll talk about 8, 9, 10th, 11th, what it conveys, and then we can go over it once again. So, mantra 8 then talks about the Sarvatma Bhava, the self of all, this idea it gives. Then, the same thing, the same idea is continued in the verse 9, mantra 9. And what is the result that is being talked? No, sorry. The Sarvatma Bhava is talked, and then Gnatva tam mrityumatyeti Nanya Pantha Vimukte. Yes. So Mrityu Matyeti. That result is also being talked, and how that result is being gained. Gnatva, by knowledge. That is also being talked. And then the nature of knowledge is being unfolded in verse 10. Adhishtan Adhyarop. That is the nature of knowledge, which we find in Bhagavad Gita also. So, सब्रह्मा स शिवसेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् स एव विष्णुः स प्राणः स कालोऽग्निः स चन्द्रमा स एव सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यं सनातनं ज्ञात्वा तं मृत्युमत्येति नान्यः पन्था विमुक्तये सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि सम्पश्यन् ब्रह्म परमं याति नान्येन हेतुना. 11 will do later. We'll do this first. So, who wants to go?
Shall I tell?
Yeah, please.
Verse 8, it describes God, everything Ishvara Swarupam. He is Brahma, he is Shiva, he is Indra, he is the immutable, the supreme, the self-luminous. He alone is Vishnu, he is Prana, He is time and fire. He is the moon.
Yes. Then you want to do the next one? You can do the next one as well.
Yes.
Ah,
He alone is all that was and all that will be, the eternal. Knowing him, one goes beyond the sting of death. There is no other way to reach complete freedom. Next verse,
yes.
verse 10. Experiencing one's own self in all beings and all beings in the self, one attains the highest Brahman and not by any other means.
Yeah. Yes.
I have some notes on 9th onwards.
Yes. Let me summarize this and then
Yeah.
yeah, let me summarize this. If you have something to add, we can do. Otherwise, you can go from 11th onwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, as she said, so Sarvatma Bhava, that self of all, is being spoken. Just as in Bhagavad Gita in the 10th chapter, Lord says, this Pahad also I am, this also I am, know me, Himalaya and all the mountains. So here some of the functions are being identified. And primarily Brahma, Shivaha, Indraha, Aksharaha, Vishnuhu. So the creator, destruction, then sustainer, all these primary functions are first of all identified. Pranaha is identified, Kalaha, time, the concept of change is identified, that you know that change also is me. Agni and Chandrama, all the different kind of, you know, uh, the primary elements are being talked about. And then the next one again brings time factor as so eva sarvam yadbhutam bhavyam cha, present. Cha means present also. So I am past, present, and future, meaning I am Sanatanam, I am changeless. And having known this, one crosses death or mortality. And other than this, meaning other than knowledge, there is no other uh, way of liberation. Now here, the Tikakara connects that Dhyatva Munir Gacchati of 7th verse, right? Dhyatva Munir Gacchati is then connected to Nanyaf Pantha Muktaye. And then this also is connected to Nanyena Hetuna. That each of the verse, that Dhyatva Munir Gacchati part is explained by this 9th verse. Gnatva tam mrityumatyeti nanyaf pantha vimuktaye. And then nanyaf pantha vimuktaye is explained by that verse 10th. Sarvabhutastam atmanam sarvabhutani chatmani sampashyan brahma paramam yati na anyena hetuna. So na anyena hetuna. So 7th is explained by 9th. 9th is explained by 10th. So what is 10th? One sees everything, everybody in Bhutastam, everyone in, what's the word? What did you say?
Experiencing one's own self in all beings and all beings in the self, one attains the highest Brahman and not by any other means.
So one sees one sees oneself in all beings and all beings in oneself. This is the vision that he gains. And what is this vision of seeing oneself in everybody and everybody in oneself? What is this? This is the knowledge of Adhishtan Adhyarop. When can I be in everybody and everybody can be in me? It is like that rope snake example. So this is what kind of knowledge is it? Adhishtan Adhyaropa. Kopaliji, if you have any other notes on 10th, you can go in 10th and then we will continue with the rest of the mantras. Also, you can comment on the rest.
Yeah, actually, my notes they talk about not exactly the meaning of the sloka itself, but it's talking about non-duality. And then our difficulty is that of that we always think that you are otherwise. Like non-duality cannot be a thought because it's a reality, cannot be experienced, only to be known. Viveka from aviveka. Separate the lumping. Surprising fact is that its false notion, though, is an object of one's experience, like the well-known rope and snake, self and non-self. Rope is the reality, snake is the identification. So is the self and non-self. Just correction is required with the existing self-evident fact. Be simple as the truth is, non-demanding, outward Roman demanding if required. By inward Vedanting, everything changes, but not the true nature of self. Here, sampasyan means seeing properly. Sampasyan, see it properly. Likes and dislikes emanate from this false perception. It falls off once you come to know Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Also, Gita says the same thing. Once you see that, you believe that, then everything becomes clear.
Right. This is talks about non-duality. How does it talk about non-duality? By seeing that I am the Adhisthana of all the Adhyaropa. This is how we are asked to see the non-duality. Okay, so then now, so Swamiji said that up to verse 10th, it is almost like the Shravanam has been taken care of. And now there are different ways of deliberation being presented. So, verse 11, uh, verse 11, where is it? Yeah, so verse 11 first tells, Atmanam aranim krutva pranavam chottararanam nirmathanabhyasat papam dahati panditah. So, what does the Pandit do? So the example of Aranim is given. So this Aranim is something that is used in Yagna or Homa. It is I don't think we'll go over the example more, but it's some tool that is used to create fire. There is a wooden platform at the base and a rod through which the fire is being formed through the principle of friction. So here also we are being asked that using this uh, rod of Gnana Niramathana Abhyasat, by using this rod of Gnanam, by churning ourselves, by having that Viveka constantly, that we can also burn the Papa by how? Pranavam cha Uttararanim. Omkara as the Uttararanim. So Omkara as the platform and Gnana uh, as the rod. But essentially what is the knowledge that I've gained so far up till 10th verse? Shravanam has been done. What is the Shravanam outcome? I am Brahman, self of all. That has been done. The verse has said, I'm the self of all. So the knowledge up till now is I am Brahman. So that has already happened. So now what do I need to do? Abhyasa, Gnana Abhyasa. So whatever comes in way of I am Brahman, I do Abhyasa. I try to negate it using different means. What is the means prescribed here? Pranavam. Omkara is the means prescribed here. So that is how we can do Abhyasa and bring ourselves back to our true nature. Anything to add?
Yeah, this sloka to me, it once again brings out the beauty of Sanskrit. even if I don't know the language, but if you are Atmanam, your Atma, Aranim Krutva, you make Arani with the Atma by Pranamam as a top block. With that, what happens? Jnana Nirmadhanabhyasat. With this jnana practice, Papam Dahati Pandita. So the word by word, it looks to be crystal clear, but Swamiji, what is indicated is a little bit more. I just read out quickly. It talks about fire generated between two wooden hollow blocks agitated by wooden rod in between by rope. The lower block is Atma, upper block is Pranava. The word Om. What is Om? It is the name of Brahman referred to in the oldest times, even before Puranas, Rama, Krishna. What is the name Brahman? The oldest description of Om, is it the word? What is in a word? He says, Swamiji explained, when you say pot or clay, unless you don't understand, the word may not mean anything. The word itself provides a meaning, like pot for us. But even Brahman word may not mean anything. How to get the meaning? The meaning you can get it by the education, samskara. Then the mere word reveals something much bigger, like Omkara revealing Brahman. Om is the syllable of three syllables, Akara, Okara, Makara, and Pranava Ardhamatra, Pranava Ardhamatra, which is the silence between is the means of knowledge. Mandukya Upanishad refers that it clears everything. The Amatra, in between two utterances, is the silence, the timelessness, the Nirguna Brahma. The Om is Saguna Brahma. The next few mantras deal with the deliberations, connecting the thread between that's about next one. While creating the Arani, the Upanishad scriptures are the rope churning the consciousness. Atma, intellect, is the rod. Jnana Nirmadhanabhyasat. What is my true state? Jivatma is not different from Brahman. Churning to remove all pashas, bandhas. What excludes each other? What doesn't exclude all? It is a fire of knowledge. That is called Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi. So much.
Okay. Okay, at this point, I think, do we want to continue tomorrow? I had thought that we'll complete everything, but I've got a lecture at 6 o'clock. So, what do we want to do? I want a consensus. Should we do complete tomorrow? Because it's a couple of verses. I don't think we can complete it right now.
Tomorrow we can do.
Right? So, okay. So then we'll meet tomorrow again at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
We'll start with 12 and we'll plan to complete it tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam
पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमुदच्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
Same time tomorrow?
That be fine?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
Just for tomorrow, then
Yeah.
everything will be back to.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Hari Om to all.
It was
Yes.
a good summary today.
Hari-
So,
Yes.
Hari Om.
Hari
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Yes. Hari Om to all. Yes.
Hari Om.